Welcome to Daily Gossip. You will get daily Hollywood updates here. Remember to subscribe for the latest videos. But today, we shift our attention to a deeply emotional and devastating event that has shaken not just the campus of Florida State University, but the hearts of people across the nation. On what was supposed to be an ordinary day full of youthful energy and academic pursuits, tragedy unfolded in a way that has left a scar on the community and perhaps even on the soul of a grieving nation. On April 17, 2025, the sun rose over Tallahassee. But no one could have imagined the darkness that would descend later that day. It was at FSU's bustling student union, usually filled with laughter, friendship, and campus life, that chaos and terror suddenly erupted. Shots rang out, and within moments, lives were forever altered. 2 precious souls were taken from this world far too soon, and 6 others were left clinging to life, wounded not just physically but emotionally by the trauma they endured. The shooter, a 20-year-old named Phoenix Ikner, was no stranger to the university. In fact, he was reportedly a student himself, someone who had walked those same halls, attended those same classes, maybe even shared conversations and memories with the very people he would later harm. But what truly adds another layer of heartbreak and confusion is the revelation that Phoenix Ikner was also the son of a longtime Leon County Sheriff's deputy, a family rooted in law enforcement, in the very institution meant to protect and serve. Authorities have stated that he had access to multiple firearms, including a handgun registered to his mother, which he allegedly used in this violent attack. After the shooting began, law enforcement quickly responded, confronting Ikner, who reportedly did not comply with their commands. He was ultimately shot and taken into custody. He now lies in a hospital bed, under heavy guard, as investigators try to piece together what led to this nightmare. The motive remains unclear, and the community is left with so many haunting questions. How could this happen? Why would a young man, seemingly like any other student, commit such a horrifying act of violence? What pain was he harboring that no one saw, or worse, that no one acted upon? FSU responded quickly, shutting down the campus and canceling all classes for the remainder of the week, but the emotional damage is harder to address. Students, faculty, families, and staff are mourning together, lighting candles, leaving flowers, and offering each other comfort in any way they can. The university has brought in grief counselors and opened up safe spaces for those affected. Meanwhile, the national spotlight shines unrelentingly on this story, not just because of its tragedy, but because of its symbolism. Another shooting, another young suspect, another community torn apart. The debate over gun control, mental health, and campus safety is ignited once again, and the country is forced to face its darkest patterns. Some critics argue that this was preventable, that red flags must have been there, waiting to be acknowledged. Others point to the complex, often overwhelming pressures placed on young people today and how society often fails to support those who are silently suffering. And then, there is the weight carried by Phoenix Ikner's family. His father, a sheriff's deputy, now finds himself on the other side of a tragedy he has likely worked to prevent for decades. His mother, whose legally owned gun was reportedly used in the crime, must now live with an unspeakable grief and an unimaginable burden. The layers of pain in this story run deep, from the victims and their families to the friends and professors who knew them, to a city that now must rebuild from the ashes of fear. But even in the midst of the devastation, glimmers of hope and humanity shine through. Students have organized vigils and charity drives for the families of the victims. Alumni have offered support from across the country. Messages of solidarity flood social media with hashtags like FSU Strong and Seminole Healing. In times like these, the community refuses to be defined by the actions of one troubled individual. Instead, they stand together, choosing love over fear, unity over division. As investigators continue their work, And as the justice system prepares for what will likely be a high-profile and emotionally charged trial, the healing process begins. Slow, fragile, and uncertain, but real. We at Daily Gossip extend our deepest condolences to the families of the victims, and we stand with the FSU community in their grief and resilience. This story is not one we ever wanted to tell, but it is one we must never forget. It is a sobering reminder of the fragility of life, the importance of mental health awareness, and the critical need for vigilance and compassion within our communities. As we close today's report, we invite you not just to watch, but to reflect, to remember the lives lost, to honor the courage of the survivors, and to think about how we, collectively, can build a safer and kinder world. Thank you for joining us on Daily Gossip. Please subscribe for more updates, and until next time, stay safe, stay aware, and hold your loved ones a little closer tonight.